that, and you're very talented, so thank you very much for sharing that and your stories. My question has to do with drag in the larger gay community. Where does that fit into the larger gay community? Is that something that's very well accepted, or are there tensions? I'm just curious about that. Anyone?
Yeah, I can take that first. I think it really can depend, and I'll speak for my experience. And it also depends on the city too. I think in Chicago we have, in my opinion, the best drag anywhere in the world. So Chicago is a powerhouse of drag, and there are a lot of queens. So I think in almost at every gay bar in Chicago, there is a presence of drag queens. So I do feel like we are widely accepted. I think it can get a little dicey when it comes to finding a partner or something like that. It can be a little bit harder because people see you as this queen, or people see you as this performer, and it can be hard to like build relationships sometimes out of drag. And so some people have, or for me, again, I want to speak from my experience, that was a little bit hard in some ways of finding that balance. For me, I think I found that balance. For me, I have an amazing partner who's here. So he's awesome. But yeah, so I would say widely in Chicago it's accepted. I think there are people that can be rude, can be, you're in a bar and they may like sexualize you in a way that or there's lack of consent that I've experienced. So on that side of things, that can be harder, but overall, I think it's more widely accepted.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the main thing about the larger gay community in terms of drag maybe is the novelty that drag provides. A lot of times I feel like specifically our community will look at us as props, especially if we are at the club in drag versus looking at us as like people, I feel like a lot of the times it's kind of just like, oh, and there's a show here too, and I'm able to disregard this show or disrespect this show because like they always get the spotlight. And there's a lot of, I think, maybe internalized like femphobia, or a lot of like, a phobia to the feminine gays in the world. So a lot of times they feel the need, especially if they are feminine gays who aren't doing drag, they feel the need to kind of want to upstage or want to, belittle like the performance that may be going on right in front of them by like talking loudly to their friend, or by kind of like trying to pay you dust or whatever it is. Like, I think that's the biggest problem I've noticed, is that a lot of times other gay people will not want to maybe give us the respect we deserve, or they treat us with like too much respect and they don't really want to humanize us after the performance is over.
Oh, I got my own mic. Don't you worry about it.
Wait, who gave her a mic? Quick, someone secure.
So I would say, surprisingly, heteronormativity really affects, I think, the queer community as well. There's this newer movement that's being led by, I feel, white gay men and white gay lesbians, or women, sorry. And so there's this new thing that it's like cutting off part of the alphabet, if you will. Like we stop at LGB. And it's very problematic to say that you're undeserving. I'm a man who likes man, but I don't wear nail polish. I don't dress up. I don't do all that feminine stuff, adding on to femphobia. It's a big problem, and it's a real problem that's starting to happen right now. And I think there's been a new ploy of divide and conquer within the queer community. You have stuff on Twitter, a big page on there, a big account. I know how to use Twitter. There's this big account on Twitter that's called Gays Against Groomers. And so again, speaking about what happened at UpRising Bakery, we end up getting looped into what a groomer is and what all these nasty narratives that are pushed upon us. Some of it is led by queer people, and it's disgusting to see it happen live. And that's, again, why I say visibility is so important, because if you're louder than the hate, where are they going to go? Thank you. I love attention. Clap for me. Thank you.
Can I add on to that really quick?
Yeah.
Yes, and I think a lot of times, specifically gay men who are trying to separate themselves specifically from trans people, is due to the legislation that is being passed. You know, they see how the legislation and the quote unquote general public, which is really a minority of people, are being like, see, that's trans, that's other. You don't want to be other. You don't want to be this. You don't want to be in drag. That's other. So then these specifically gay men who can assimilate to straight passing, who can, walk the streets and not feel ashamed, they're like, oh, well, I'm not like them. I may be in their alphabet soup, but I'm not like them, and it's to make themselves feel a little bit more, again, heteronormative.
Thank you for the wow. Anyone else?
Who do you look up to and take inspiration from, both drag queens and non-drag?
Before this, preparing for the show, I watched the J-Lo and Shakira Super Bowl performance just to, just to hype myself up as a Latino. I just wanted to say that out loud.
Yeah. I think for me personally, like, my boyfriend, they're sitting right here. I'm gonna embarrass them. Look at them. Okay, stop looking at them. They don't like attention. Me and my partner really go hand in hand. They're definitely more 70. I'm more 30%, but we definitely go hand in hand. And I really look up and am inspired by their creativity and their work. And even if we're fighting at night because I'm too lazy to get on that sewing machine, I mean, listen, their influence works. I was able to make this corset in time for tonight. But I would say specifically for me, my partner does push me to be a lot better for myself and who I am creatively, which then interprets into me as a person and makes me push on day. I'm kind of boring. I'm so bad with references in movies, and my beautiful partner, Tori Chiffon, definitely helps push me to understand more pop culture. So yeah.
For me, it's kind of two-part. Of course, seeing this get up, I'm clearly inspired by Black women. As far as famous people, of course, Beyonce. Come on, make some noise for Beyonce. Another person that's newer to pop culture, Lizzo. I think the way she uses her platform, I think she needs like a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, she is truly amazing. And then for me, on the other side of things, I'm really inspired and have always been inspired by my mom. A beautiful, gorgeous Black woman who raised me to kind of be the person that I am today. And seeing her as growing up as this beautiful woman who, who had to go through a lot of adversity, but still was confident, pushed through life, and is my best friend to this day. So seeing her, and sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, woo, is really, has been inspiring for me.
Yes, I mainly and namely the first season of Drag Race I watched was season 9. I was 15. So Shea Coulee, local Chicago icon, is the reason genuinely that I'm here today. Okay, if I did not see that woman on that screen on VH1 in my room when I was sick, I wouldn't have been here today. So you can thank VH1 for that. Okay. I also, of course, love Willow Pill. Any Chicago queen, really, like all Chicago queens, I'm very obsessed with. I love Chicago drag. I love these queens, and I love, and like current celebrity, of course, Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know if you guys know who that is. She's an up and coming rapper. Oh, never mind. I love Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion is someone who taught me how to embrace my sexuality and my femininity and the power in being and embracing and loving your body when I was dealing with a lot of body issues. I love Cara Cavalli, who's like a Miami queen. She's like very sickening. I used to watch her videos on YouTube, her makeup videos. I love those queens. I love Miss Toto, who's a local drag queen here in Chicago. Doja Cat, of course. I love Doja Cat, like anything Doja Cat. And just like rap, like women's rap, like Black female rap. I just love this kind of grandiose woman, but I'm also very much a supernatural diva. I love a good like mystical show. I love horror. I'm very into horror movies. So horror movies, supernatural like characters like vampires and mermaids, and then Doja Cat. Now why y'all laughing? That was serious. And Shea Coulee at the end of the day. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go stage left to right. I think that corner. Someone rose their hand up. Okay, sorry, I'm blind. Go ahead.
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
There's no answer. There is no answer. What was the question? Oh.
For me, obviously I have this injury. Got surgery a couple of weeks ago, so it's been a little bit rough during this past Pride Month. But this past weekend we celebrated Pride, and what has been bringing me joy has been my chosen family. My friends have been there for me. Have, come over, watch Drag Race. Really pushed me to like not sit in the house and like wallow in like I'm like this diva. I'm normally up here cat split, but right now things look a little different. So I would definitely say my chosen family has been bringing me joy lately.
Honestly, not much. No, I'm kidding. Drag. No, I'm kidding. I think honestly, with doing a competition currently and just like Pride Month bookings, I have just what's bringing me joy is being in my own energy. Just being kind of like in the house, able to just like sit back, relax, and like unwind, because that's something that I realized I took for granted when I was doing it often. And I think now that the more I work and gig while also working a full-time job and doing those things, it's like anytime I get to kind of just go home or like like talk to my mom on the phone or watch YouTube or just like sit back with like my roommate, it's very nice, and it makes me very happy because I realize how often when we are working full-time, when we are kind of tending to our lives, that we don't get to tend to ourselves. So it's been kind of really a joy to realize like, oof, after this week I'll get to like love myself after this week, and that's all you need in this life.
I would say my drag and queerness, because that encompasses so much. Specifically for my queerness, I think it's just being able to live authentically myself, and with the job that I have to like push for other people. I always kind of look back at the queer individual like when I was younger and think of the resources that I wish that I had. And now as an adult, I get to help create those for younger people. So that's been a joyous thing. And for my drag, I just love, like, again, my beautiful partner. We laugh, joke, cry, fight, make up. What's the Katy Perry song? Something about that. And it's just like being able to come home, even when work is stressful, to my partner and my two beautiful kids, and just kind of like work on drag, work on that, have that queer experience, and then having the beautiful surprise of my brother showing up today with his beautiful fiance, Jovi. Brother's name's Nick. And I just being able to have the support that I think I've been really yearning for a lot of my life to finally let it happen, not seeking it out, but when it does happen, to celebrate it is very joyous in my life right now.
Okay, we have time for one because I want the last question. Oh my gosh, you're eager. Let's do a quick round. Let's start right there.
We heard the name Beyonce mentioned. Who else are your favorite divas?
Oh, Kylie Minogue! Kylie Minogue, please! Where are my older people at? I know the younger generation doesn't know her. She's more than just Padam, I swear!
Janet Jackson.
We're gonna take it back old school too with some Whitney.
Selena.
Yeah!
Okay, someone else raise up their hand.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to try drag?
Quit while you're ahead.
I would say, and I think somebody told me this too when I first started drag, just start. You don't need to. A lot of people are worried about, oh, I need to look this beat and my face needs to be perfect. I need to have this perfect outfit. I need to have the perfect routine. Just get started, whether it's just like at home in front of your mirror and then going out to a competition or like a amateur show. Just get started. You don't have to be perfect. I mean, we look good, but we're not perfect, you know. I mean, some might say, but I mean, I might be, but yeah, just get started. Don't think about it too much. Just go have fun. Yeah.
Someone else in the back rose up their hand. Go ahead.
Can you tell us, are there any hallmarks of Chicago drag that make the style of drag here different from elsewhere in the country?
Journalists.
I mean, there's just so many great entertainers that make it happen. So bigger scale names: Bambi Banks Coulee, Chloe Coulee, Kenzie. You have Miss Toto. You have other than drag queens, you have Tenderoni, Lukami, amazing person who creates so many great opportunities for people. I could go on. Those are just like the top 5. You take 5 each now.
Star Step. No. I think a big thing about Chicago drag that makes it so unique is that it is a celebration of just the art of drag. There is this kind of thing where it's like, versus where you're gonna go to different regions and their scene is gonna have, okay, like the Southern scene is gonna be more pageants, gonna be more this and that. The California scene is gonna be a bit more body, amped up, hot outside kind of thing. New York is gonna have your theater queens. Chicago has this kind of amalgamation of like every single like drag type, and that's why open stages and competitions, which allow you to strengthen your brand as a drag artist, which is kind of to that question about starting drag, is knowing who you are, knowing who you want to be as a drag artist, and having that strength and security in yourself that will carry you forward through your drag journey. I think that Chicago allows any type of drag artist and any drag that's being done to be celebrated and put on a main stage with access and resources to a lot of other different artists.
Was that just to me or to the audience?
Beauty tutorials. I don't know. I just have it. Practice.
Someone from this side. Go ahead.
I hear the term queen being used when you refer to others and yourself. So what does the term queen mean to you, and why do you choose to identify?
So to push back against that, and like the most like lovable way to say that, I think our narrative needs to be beyond queens. I mean, I'm a gorgeous queen myself, but I choose my drag as a queen identity because I love how femininity is so strong, how femininity is so empowering. And listen, look pretty good. I'm not patting no foam here. Oh, there goes my phone. So for me, that's why I choose to be a queen. But I think it's very important to say that there's so much more to drag than what's on main stage, main TV show, RuPaul's Drag Race. There's so much more than, there's kings, drag things, drag entities, drag royalty, drag artists. Like, it's such a gorgeous thing to see. And I always, tell me if I'm wrong, I always correct people. Entertainers, drag performers, because we gotta be inclusive. There's so much out there, and we need to have everybody at the table.
I mean, pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. For me, I would say the same, but added on to that again with like my drag comes from is inspired by strong Black women and that femininity that comes with that strength. And so has been such a strong part of my drag and why I identify as a drag queen. I also identify as a drag performer as well, just because that's why I do this. At the end of the day is to perform. I love being on the stage and being able to connect with an audience.
And like Jackie said, I'm somebody who identifies as a drag artist per se because of the notion of like, I'm bringing drag to my art. I love to perform. I performed before I did drag, and now I'm just doing it in a different way. So drag artist is something that makes me feel more comfortable, but I also do love the term drag queen because queen is this kind of high-end royal, this uplifted sense that you get when you are in drag. But I prefer to use the term drag artist because I love kind of the artistry that drag provides you and the canvas that your persona can allow you to take on.
I got in trouble about 3 years ago. I was having so much fun doing a kind of a series for, back in Texas, drag queens in and out of makeup. And I was reaching out to local drag queens saying, hey, I'm doing a story on drag queens. And then I was so happy, like pushing out, emails, just back to back, cut and paste. And I think I cut and pasted with you guys, so I'm sorry about that. And someone responded back saying, I am not a queen. I don't refer myself as in a feminine way, because now there's drag kings, drag queens, drag performers. And me and Jackie had to I spoke with all of them in the very beginning, like, what do you prefer? For marketing purposes, just for conversations. And me and Jackie, she said that it's okay to get it wrong the first time, because it didn't come from a malicious place. And I think now, like in the media, with RuPaul's Drag Race, I think the term drag queen is so popular, and I feel like it's where people go to first. But what I've learned, and you guys, today I like changed in a room with drag queens. That was super cool. But what I've learned is they're artists, they're performers, and that's what matters. And queen's a nice word, still have to describe them, but whatever they prefer. But anyways, I wanted to ask Star, back to the story time from before, something that resonated, something she said was heteronormative conversations with your parents. Because, parents have the sex talk with kids, that's super normal. But for gay people, you have to sit your mom and dad down and say, hey, what you expect from me is not going to happen. And, coming from, at least for me, from immigrant family, they are like so eager to call to Mexico and be like, hey, Ismael is getting married to a woman, and that is not going to happen. And I've had talks with my mom, y'all, like, I've come out to my mom like 10 times, and she forgets on purpose. And she's like, I don't know, moms are weird. Like, sometimes she'll be like, there's a cute boy at the door, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But then she like forgets that I'm gay. But I don't know what it is here, but it's a conversation gay people have more often than not. And I wanted to ask you, like, I know you said your mom supports you now, but how was that first interaction with your mom?
Yeah, I think that when it first happened, it was a shell shock to both of us, because there is this grandiose, high stake thing that comes with coming out, and a lot of queer people now are like, I don't feel the need to come out because like I love who I love, and straight people don't come out, which is true. So I already had stakes on me to come out from, the moment I realized. So it was hard when you have to kind of process for yourself, but then also process how everybody else is going to respond. And it reminds me of an article I read where it's like, queer people aren't, afraid of their own gay feelings that they have. They're worried about the public's response to what they're going to feel. Like, what they feel is natural within them, and it makes them feel happy. And then the immediate, but what about this person? Well, what about this person? Oh, this person said something homophobic that was like in my head, replaying it. And I told her, and I think that she was just in shock, and I didn't necessarily have time to coddle her feelings about this thing, and I knew that wasn't my responsibility to, as a young queer person. Like, this was my thing to figure out. This is my business. And it's just about that love and respect you have for your parent, that you're like, I just want to let you know. And I think that was kind of the first time that she realized that, oh, this is a young adult, or this is a child who's coming to make decisions for themselves and not for the betterment of what their parent thinks. And it was hard, because I remember like one time, this is funny, so y'all can laugh at the end of the story. She was like, I think I made like a gay joke, and she was so upset she started crying, and we're just sitting in the room crying. And I was like, girl, why are you crying? Like, what's wrong? And she's like, can you make me a corn dog? And I was like, yes, I made her a corn dog. It's like, when you talk to that person, you kind of have to you have to be the queer, all-knowing, all-seeing person. You have to be the one that has all the answers, even when you don't, when you're 12 and you don't know, but you just know what you feel. And I think that was probably the hardest part, was having to pretend like I knew what I was talking about when I just knew what I felt, and not having necessarily the vernacular to kind of comfort her with the information that was making her uncomfortable when it wasn't my responsibility. So I think that was probably how the initial like first month went. And I think slowly but surely over the course of like 3 months, like over the course of like a summer, she kind of just understood that this was something. Because like you said with your mom, like I think that also parents do know. These parents, parents understand that when their child is different in any way. And I think that it is this denial, this kind of, willful ignorance that you want to have to protect your own feelings. And I think that I was just never that kind of kid. I was always like, no, this is real. You need to face this. And she was like, I guess so, So I think that like after that, she got into therapy, I got into therapy. Again, I found an online community and was able to like talk and meet with other young people who were queer and who accepted and celebrated me. But definitely that first month was a lot of me being like, I don't know how to explain this to you and the vernacular to use, but this is how I'm feeling. And she was like, and I don't know the proper way to go about this because I was never taught that, because I was taught that if you were gay, all these bad things would happen. If you were gay, everybody was going to bully you and hate you, while we were kind of at the turn of being celebrated, because I came out of middle school. So it's like in 2015, gay marriage was legalized and I was fully 14 years old. So it's like, it is still so new to be accepting of queer people, but queer people aren't going anywhere and have been here for a long time too. So you kind of have to do the work yourself to accept them. That's not a child's responsibility.
Amazing. We hit 2 minutes over, so let's give it up one more time for the queen. Stand up. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on behalf of us, the Sun-Times, and my heart. Thank you so much.